Hi, I'm Kerry. I'm host of Best of Us in Retirement. And I've come across an article that I thought was interesting. It's from Motley Fool, and it's titled, "Here's America's Medium Retirement Savings Balance. How does yours stack up?" And what they say in the article is basically that the average American has $93,000 saved for retirement, and that it probably isn't going to be enough to get you through retirement. And that's the drift of the article. And then they give you some suggestions of what you should do. The first thing, and I would agree with them totally, is get on a budget. And that is to say, and for the big reason to get on a budget is to learn what it costs you to live. If you know what it costs you to live before retirement, you'll have a pretty good idea as to what it's going to cost you after retirement. And so I would agree. The first step figuring out if you're going to have enough is to get on a budget. The second is to consider a side job. That may or may not be important. And if you can get a side job, if you want to be an Uber driver or if you want to be a greeter at Walmart or whatever, a side gig. If you're a handyman, they have websites now where you can do handiwork and get paid for it. It's a side gig. And then I would suggest, if in fact you do get a side gig, use that money to fully fund your 401k at your primary job or your IRA or whatever kind of retirement you have if you're prior to retirement. So I think that's a good idea. And then it says look to extending your existing career. That is an option. And it may or may not be an option, and it may or may, if you hate your job, probably not. But if you enjoy your job, and then the other thing I would suggest is when it does get to retirement, and if you do want to retire, ask if you can be a consultant. And you can work on the side, and you can work from home, and maybe you can supplement your income that way. But what I wanted to do is, if you've seen one of my other videos where I answered the question that someone asked me, I have $300,000 in savings, is that enough to retire on? And I did that video. But I want to take the numbers. I had created an Excel spreadsheet, and I want to put that 93,000 in there and in that spreadsheet and just see how does it measure out. Because the other thing I'm going to do is I'm on that spreadsheet is to use the government supplied numbers that I have been able to find as what it costs an individual to live in retirement in the various categories of expenditures. But number one, you would be able to do that better if you're on a budget now and you know every month what it costs you to live. So let's look at my Excel spreadsheet and see what 93,000 looks like and see if it is enough. Okay? We'll take a look at it. I used this spreadsheet in a prior video where I answered the question, I have $300,000 for retirement. Is that enough? I thought I'd use it to explain or to examine this Yahoo Finance article that said that the median savings for a retiree is $93,000, and is it enough? And so I've expanded on it, and I want to show you two examples. First of all, I'm showing the 93,000, and it's showing up here, and I'm saying let's put it into a conservative investment portfolio, which would basically be corporate bonds, dividend stocks, and treasuries to yield a 4% return annually. I'm also using, for my retired couple here, an average Social Security payment of about $3,000, the 93,000 at 4, and then I'm saying they have a pension of $12,000, and working through then the expenses. And I've expanded the expenses to show what you're spending on the home, what you're spending in the auto, the food, entertainment, and such. And then I realized I have long-term care insurance and I have life insurance. And then most of us spend some money on travel and see how it came out. And under this scenario, we have $7,620 in overage, more, in other words, more income than we have expenditures on an annual basis. And our 93,000 over the next 10 years actually grows to 229,000. I then took the same numbers, and rather than a pension or I put in part-time income, and I changed the investment portfolio to 8%, which would be ETFs, index ETFs, blue chip stocks, and large tech stocks, and said you got an 8% return. And here again, you can see, and I increased the amount in travel, and here again, you can see the nest egg grows. What I want to do now is let's get down and dirty, and let's say that there is no pension and there is no part-time income. How do we come out now? Now our 93,000 here with a 4% investment return diminishes down to 56,000 after 10 years. And down here, if with an 8% return, and again with no pension and no part-time, we're actually having, in both of these cases, we're having to draw down our 93,000 here for about 6,800, here for about 7,800, because we have a little more travel expense, as that's our there. But again, we do have, our couple is making it. They have less than they started out with, but they are making it. And that is because, and the difference is 56,000 here, 86,000 here, and the difference is the return on their investment. So that gives us some guideline as to what actually happens to a retired couple. And again, you notice there is no debt here. If this had, let's just use that as an example, and let's say that we had twice that, we had a $1,200 mortgage on top of it. Let's say that, so that would make that $2,400, and you can see we just blew it. We have now drawn down our 93,000, and in fact we're $116,000 in the red. Okay, as you can see, there are variables in there. I think the main variable that can blow the whole thing up is if you're in debt. If you have not paid off the mortgage on your house, if you have student loans or anything of that nature, you've got to get rid of them before you retire, and be in a position to understand your expenditures, understand your income, and then have an investment strategy. As I said, either a 4% is a very conservative, and that's very achievable, or an 8% is also achievable, but you need to sock some money away in cash, so that if there's a variation in the market, if there's some volatility and you have a bad year or two, you aren't selling your securities, you're actually coming off your cash. And we can talk about that at a later date. The other thing, as I say, and as Motley Fool suggests, consider a side job. Consider something, because again, you don't want to just sit around home and be strapped financially because you can't do something. Find somebody who can benefit from your years of experience. Consider this the second half. I like to think that I spent my working years learning everything that I know today so that I could then monetize my knowledge, and that's what this YouTube channel is. It's a monetization of my knowledge and my experience and my willingness to share. So think about that avenue, and retirement can be wonderful. So that's my take on it. And I think, as I said, if you're out of debt and you control your expenses, this average or median retirement savings of $93,000 can work for you. Okay, if you like this kind of video, give it a thumbs up. And then subscribe to the channel. And I'd encourage you, if you have some questions that maybe I can address and to help you in your retirement, put them in the comments. And I read all the comments. And let's see if we can't collectively collaborate on a very enjoyable retirement.